I don't want to make this too much about Donald Trump. We have a lot of grieving, a lot of work to do as a city and as a country, but he should look in the mirror. I mean, he made a choice in his presidential campaign, the folks around with him, to go right to the gutter, to play on our worst prejudices, and I think you were seeing a direct line from what happened here this weekend to those choices. He has the opportunity, as do we all, to have a fresh beginning. What I did not hear in the president's statement yesterday, as well-intentioned as it may have been, is I didn't hear the words white supremacy, and I think that it's important to call this for what it is.
Well, the president's been very clear. We cannot tolerate this kind of bigotry, this kind of hatred. And what he did is he called on all Americans to take a firm stand against it. This is a great opportunity for us to ask ourselves, what are we teaching our children? Tolerance has to overcome this kind of hatred.
Was that domestic terrorism yesterday?
I think what terrorism is the use of violence to incite terror and fear. And of course it was terrorism.
So you do classify that as terrorism?
Well, and from a legal sense, there'll be a full investigation, as you know, but certainly I think we can confidently call it a form of terrorism.
The president didn't just call for human beings to respect one another, which is his pragmatist core, fundamental bare minimum, but he called for ideally Americans to love one another, for all God's children to love one another. That is a fundamental assault on the very nature of the hatred that we're seeing here.
Call this white supremacism, this white nationalism evil, and let the country hear it, let the world hear it. It's something that needs to come from the Oval Office, and this White House needs to do it today.
Well, it's an act of domestic terrorism, and the groups you just mentioned are hate-filled groups. They're enemies of freedom. But when it comes to President Trump, I'm with Corey Gardner. He missed an opportunity to be very explicit here. These groups seem to believe they have a friend in Donald Trump in the White House. I don't know why they believe that, but they don't see me as a friend in the Senate. And I would urge the president to dissuade these groups that he's their friend.
And I think he needed to be much harsher as it related to the white supremacists and the nature of that. I applaud General McMaster for calling it out for what it is. It's actually terrorism. And whether it's domestic or international terrorism, with the moral authority of the presidency, you have to call that stuff out.